Again, we're back part of this series, and on this section, your cross, take up your cross daily as Jesus instructed. I believe with all my heart that if you're willing to wrestle with God, spend time with Him, just ask Him, and He will give you the ability to do anything He wants to through your life. Don't turn away. Listen to these verses. Matthew chapter 5, verse 9 through 12. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who have been persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you falsely, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward in heaven is great. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Wow. Powerful. My son Evan, preparing for the ministry, he asked me one day, it wasn't that long ago, Dad, what's the most difficult thing you've ever done? I knew in a second what the answer was. I said, Evan, I could fall down right now and die, and it really wouldn't bother me. I said, the most difficult thing I've ever done is how my calling on my life, what God's called me to do, has affected the family, and seeing the difficulties that they've had to go through. In 2005, this is one story, for instance. 2005, going to Brasilia, Brazil, with a team from San Antonio. And there was about 35 people on this team going to the capital of Brazil. God had already made it clear to me there was going to be a whole lot of people saved on that trip. I had no idea what it was going to cost and some of the difficulties that were going to come in the days ahead. As usual, spent most of every penny that we had to be on the plane to go down there. And here's what happened. It's a long story, but I got stuck in the airport. Got stuck in the airport 3 days before I could get to the team that was down in Brasilia. And when we were stuck in Sao Paulo trying to take a flight to Brasilia, they said the flight's going to cost you $75. I had already bought a ticket, but they weren't accepting my ticket because I missed the flight because of just a whole lot of things that had happened, and I was upset. I had left $76 in our bank account for my family when I was away. They said this plane ticket's going to cost $75. I'd already told Terry how much was in the bank and how much she could spend when I was away. There's no words that say how difficult that was. I already spent 3 nights in airports, and now having to spend the very last of what we had. And I didn't even know if it was in the bank anymore. I didn't know if Terry had spent some of it. And I handed him a debit card there at the airport counter, not really knowing if it would go through. A few minutes later, they handed it back to me with my tickets. I knew I'd spent everything. I knew I left my family. At home without anything. On that trip, there was something like 36 or 3,700 people that gave their lives to Jesus. It was one of the greatest works I'd ever seen in my life. I watched this lady shut down her bar because she wanted Jesus. I saw many come to Jesus as their Savior. I gave an invitation this one night, and it looked like everybody there gave their lives to Jesus. I saw God work over and over and over. And it was on the other side of the cross that I saw God work. Would have been so easy to quit. Anybody would have said, oh, you did the right thing. But I knew in my heart that I had to follow the Lord. I had to do what He called me to do. And I've seen that pattern over and over in my life, where I put my family and us at great risk just simply because of being obedient to the Lord. How do you do that? Is by developing a relationship, keeping this relationship, being in the Word, understand when God's speaking to you, and understanding there's a cost. I encourage you to keep listening to this part of this series, because I believe there's something in it for you.